What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Seeking Sister Wife Season 5, Episode 9, Seeking a Silver Lining. So let's get started with Garrick and Danielle. So initially, Danielle was not going to be going to Brazil to join Garrick and Natalia. Garrick and Natalia are together in Brazil so that they can get married and apply for the spousal visa so that Garrick can bring Natalia into the United States at some point. So the initial plan was for Danielle to join them in Brazil to be a part of the wedding festivities. But because of all that they're going through, because Danielle and Garrick have hit a rough patch in their marriage, Danielle and Natalia, their relationship really is not progressing. It has completely stalled. Danielle feels like Natalia is not really trying to form a sister-wife bond with her. She feels like Natalia is more concerned with developing her relationship with Garrick. She feels like Garrick is not really in her corner when it comes to her issues with Natalia, that Garrick is not really understanding where she's coming from when she tells her husband, hey, I don't think Natalia is really interested in getting to know me better or forming a bond with me. So Danielle has really been in her feelings. And on top of that, she found out that she was pregnant. And when she announced the news to Garrick through FaceTime that they were expecting a baby after 14 years, I felt like Garrick's reaction was a little bit lackluster. I don't know how Danielle felt about it, but after that conversation, she really didn't seem any happier. So when we see Danielle this week, she is now going to Brazil. She's changed her mind. She's going to Brazil. And, she tells us that she is committed to Garrick. She's committed to Natalia and this plural lifestyle. But she does feel like the other woman. As she arrives in Brazil, she says that she feels like, the other woman, like she's coming to intrude on Garrick and Natalia's relationship. That's how ostracized she feels. And I blame that totally on Garrick. I think that Garrick, being the husband or the man in the relationship, really should have made a bigger effort to make sure that Natalia made Danielle feel comfortable. And if Danielle was expressing some concerns to Garrick about Natalia not wanting to bond with her, not wanting to talk to her, not returning her text messages, Garrick really should have said something to Natalia. And if Natalia was not being receptive, Garrick should have dropped Natalia like a hot potato. But that's not what happened. So your girl Danielle is feeling very ostracized, feeling like the third wheel in all of this. She arrives at Garrick and Natalia's apartment. And it seems like, Garrick and Natalia have made a little home of this apartment. I totally understood where Danielle was coming from when she said that she felt like a third wheel. So Garrick said that he was, oh, by the way, Natalia already knows about Danielle being pregnant. Garrick said that he was shocked to find out that Danny was pregnant. He thought that it would have been Natalia being pregnant before Danielle. So Garrick and Natalia, all three of them are sitting down in the living room, and they're kind of getting Danielle, catching her up to speed with what's been going on in Brazil. So they've been having some issues with getting, I guess, a marriage license, having the government approve their marriage license or approve for them to get married, because the Brazilian government found out about Garrick living a pluralist lifestyle. I'm assuming through the show. Somebody must have Googled him or something, who works for the government. And because of that, they said that they need special permission from the judge to approve Garrick and Natalia getting married. And I was sort of confused about this, because if the issue is that you can't marry more than one person, if that's the law in Brazil, Garrick is not married to anybody right now because he divorced Danielle. So he divorced Danielle so that he could marry Roberta and apply for a spousal visa with Roberta, but that didn't work out. And as far as I know, Danielle and Garrick never got remarried. So I don't know if the Brazilian government is having an issue with him living with more than one woman, because they're assuming that, we see you with Danielle and you want to marry Natalia, so all y'all are going to be living together. I don't know if that's the issue, because I know it can't be that you can't be married to more than one person, because Garrick is not married to he won't be married to more than one person. He's not legally married to anybody. So I didn't understand that at all. So the government is giving them a hard time about this marriage license, and they talk about Danielle's pregnancy. Now, Natalia was very suspicious about Danielle being pregnant, because she was asking some very, I felt like, intimate questions. She was asking, were they being intimate during her fertile days? And if they were, why are they so shocked that she's pregnant? I guess Natalia really wasn't understanding. It's like, if you're doing the things that make babies and y'all are not taking precaution, why y'all so surprised that y'all made a baby? And Danielle tries to explain to Natalia that it's been 14 years of them not taking precautions, and they haven't gotten pregnant since their last child, who was 14 years old. So that's why they were shocked, because maybe they thought they were through having children. It wasn't going to happen anymore. And then all of a sudden she pops up pregnant. So Natalia is very suspicious. And then Danielle tells us in her confessional, she says that, it seems like Natalia thinks I planned this pregnancy to try to get Garrick back. Garrick didn't really go anywhere, so I don't know what she means by that, but I kind of see what she's saying. Like, she was, as if Natalia is trying to imply that there was definite tension between Garrick and Danielle, and that maybe Danielle was feeling some kind of way that Garrick was getting closer and closer to Natalia. So she decides to get pregnant to get his attention back and to pull Garrick back closer to her and away from Natalia. So like they're playing, tug of war with this man. You have Natalia, she's young, she's attractive, she's the new shiny toy. And then you have Danielle feeling kind of like, the used toy that he's no longer interested in. He's still going to keep around because, he's got memories with this toy, but, he's not that interested in this particular toy. He's more interested in his new shiny toy. And so in order to distract him from the new shiny toy, she does this whole pregnancy thing. So I myself was even doubting that she was actually pregnant because, I watch a lot of reality TV, and this is what so many people lie about pregnancies and miscarriages and all this other stuff. So I really wasn't sure if she really was pregnant, but somebody in my comments confirmed that yes, she is pregnant. It's all over their social media. She was definitely pregnant during this time. Okay. So, later on, Natalia gets a call from some government official saying that the judge did not approve for her and Garrick to get married. So this, makes Natalia extremely upset. Garrick is also upset. And Garrick is now considering getting the K1 visa for the fiance, getting the fiance visa. So him and Danielle are taking a walk, and they decide to leave Natalia alone because she's really upset about not being able to get the marriage license. So Garrick and Danielle are taking a walk, and he tells Danielle that, I feel like I wasted a lot of time, a lot of money, just to be denied the marriage license. And so now we have to start all over with the K1 process. Danielle tells us that she's feeling a little bit relieved that Garrick and Natalia are not going to be getting married. Something about maybe this is God's plan. It wasn't meant to be, but she is going to pretend like she's being supportive of them applying for the K1 visa. Garrick is really stuck in and he's really in a pickle because he's got one woman that he has to try to comfort because they're not able to get married. Then he has another woman who is pregnant, and he's supposed to be happy and joyful about, this new life that he created with Danielle. So I'm pretty sure Garrick is like all kinds of confused right now. But these are the problems that he chose to have. So, he needs to figure it out, and needs to figure it out really, really soon. Moving on to the Davis family. So the Davis family, which is Nick, April, Jennifer, and Danielle. This time we only met with April. Okay, because April is meeting up with her brother Billy. This was a very interesting conversation to me that her and her brother had. So her brother tells us that he thinks that April is going along with all of this, pluralist lifestyle, sister wife thing, this thing about Nick having multiple wives, that the only reason why she's going along with it is to basically keep Nick happy. Like, this girl is, April is like mesmerized or whatever by Nick, and she doesn't see exactly what's going on, how she's being manipulated and controlled by this man, and that she's going along with all of Nick's plans to add more wives or women because she just would do anything to keep them. And I'm like, Billy, come on with it. I was very interested in Billy's theories of what the hell was going on with April. Billy thinks that the wives are getting played by Nick because Nick stays home all day, doesn't have a job, doesn't do anything. He does whatever the hell he wants to do, which is not a privilege that a lot of adults get to have. You know, adults who want to be independent and have their own residence and have their own utilities and their own vehicles, they don't have the luxury to not do anything or to just do whatever the hell they want to do. Most adults have to go to work, you know, to keep things going. And Nick doesn't have to do that because he's convinced 3 women to go to work for him and to take care of him, basically. So the brother was like, what the hell was he doing before Vera was born? And so, you know, basically nothing. He had the whole time, he had the whole day or whatever to himself. He told us during that time before they had Vera, Nick was telling us that he spends his time while the women are at work, he spends his time expanding his knowledge. And now he's a stay-at-home dad. And April says, well, you know, this is something that society really isn't used to, but there's nothing wrong with it. You know, there's no difference between a man staying home and and a woman staying home. So he's just being a stay-at-home dad. You know, nobody would blink an eye if Nick was a woman staying home to take care of the child. So April then brings up how Danielle has finally come around to dating and, you know, possibly getting married to a third wife or adding a fourth wife into the mix. And Billy was like, y'all are really rushing into this. You know, the girl barely has time to get adjusted to this new lifestyle and y'all are pushing her to start dating and, you know, to marry somebody else. And April says, well, we rushed with Danielle and that worked out. And then Billy said, yeah, it worked out so well that she ran away from home. And I'm like, come on, Billy, with the common sense. I was really enjoying this conversation because these people have never been challenged about the fact that there are 3 women taking care of one man who gets to do whatever the hell he wants to do. And he refuses to marry any of them. Like I said in my previous review, he doesn't marry any of these women. So he has no legal, not even a moral obligation to these women. Because Nick seems like the kind of person that if he were to cheat on his wives, his excuse would be, well, it's not cheating because we're not married. We're not even married. I'm not even married to y'all. How is it cheating? He seems like that kind of person who would say something so slick like that. And I don't know if any bells are ringing in April's head as she's talking to her brother. And I'm pretty sure this is not the first time that her brother has expressed these concerns to her. But I'm looking at April and then I'm like, I feel like the wheels are turning in her head, in her brain. Like she's understands, because April is not dumb. You know, I feel like she kind of understands where her brother is coming from, but there's just something about Nick that really makes her want to be played and want to be manipulated. And like, I don't understand. You know, I really don't understand. I'm being completely honest and truthful and upfront when I say this. I'm not saying that Nick is not attractive, okay? But there are certain men who have a certain something about them that you can kind of understand why women have lost their God-given sense. And they do things that don't make any sense because they are attractive, powerful, financially secure. There's something about them that you're like, oh, I get it. You know, I wouldn't do it, but I understand why these women are living like this, because this man is taking care of everybody. He's extremely good looking. She's charming. He has a great personality. He's fun. There's something about, you know, a man that you can understand why women would want to do the things that they normally wouldn't do. But I just don't get it with Nick. And I'm not trying to, you know, like, I'm not trying to talk bad about him or insult him in any kind of way, but I just don't understand. Like, what is it about Nick that makes these women think it's okay for them to take care of him, especially before they have the baby? Like, I don't get it. So we'll see what goes on with that. So I don't know if I don't know. April really didn't give a good enough explanation for me to satisfy me, as far as like, why she's living this way. Because like I said, April seems like a really smart woman, but she's just, I don't know. This just doesn't make any sense to me. Moving on to Nyla and Naim. So they're meeting up with another couple, who are their friends, and this other couple, they're also polygamist, and they are also Muslim. So they're going out for like a picnic or something, and they're talking about, the challenges of finding a sister wife, how the pool of sister wives is not that big in their area. Either you'll find women who are willing to be a sister wife, but they want to be taken care of, or you'll find women who are willing to be a sister wife, but they want to be the number one wife. They want to push the existing wife out of the way and be the number one wife, or women who are just not that interested in this lifestyle. So it's really difficult to find potential sister wives. So they talk about that. Then they talk about how family members don't support their decision. Their friend, I think her name was Shamira or Shamira, was talking about how her mother does not approve of this lifestyle. And then Naim adds on that his mother thinks it's disgusting and nasty to live this way. So then they start talking about Shamira and her husband more specifically. And Shamira is actually the third wife to her husband. The first two wives, I don't know exactly. I didn't quite understand the story of what happened to the first two wives. I think they both jumped ship at some point. And then Shamira talks about that when she first became a sister wife, and the second wife was still there, she talks about how even though she was the newest wife, she still suffered from jealousy. She talked about she would have breakdowns at work because she would just be so overcome with jealousy, and that jealousy is real in a sister wife type of situation. No matter how well everybody gets along, you will feel that jealousy at some point. And so Shamira asks Nyla, do you ever get jealous? And Nyla was like, no, I don't get jealous. But then again, Nyla has not been in a situation where there has been an official sister wife in the family. Her and Naim are still looking. They're still searching. So she hasn't been put in that situation where a woman, like they've picked a woman and she's moved in with them, and now she has to watch Naim develop a romantic relationship with another woman. She's never experienced that. So her saying that she's never been jealous really means nothing. It's a moot point because she hasn't been in a situation where she would have to feel jealous. It's still just her and Nick for now. Even when things were going well with Stephanie, their potential sister wife, Stephanie was in a whole nother state. She wasn't in close proximity to them where Nyla has to physically watch, her husband get closer and closer and fall in love with another woman. So yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens when they do find that sister wife, how her jealousy plays out. Moving on to Ashley and Shane. Y'all, Ashley is still pregnant. With Garrick and Danielle, they have been to Mexico. They have been to Brazil. Your girl Danielle is now pregnant. I feel like everybody, like time is going on and on and on with everybody else, but with Ashley and Shane, time has stopped because Ashley is still pregnant, and she looked really pregnant when the season started. So I thought she would have been really close to having this baby by now, but she is still pregnant. So Sarah comes over, their potential sister wife. She comes over, and it's for a very serious reason, because Shane wants to get to the bottom of what are Sarah's true intentions with us. Is she just playing around with us? Is she serious about us? What does she really want out of this? So they're all sitting in the kitchen, at the kitchen table. It's very formal and very serious. And Ashley starts off by telling Sarah, I like you, I'm digging you, I want this to work out with us. I feel really good about this. And Sarah says, well, I feel good about it too. I'm okay with everything so far. And when the question came up with, are you ready to be exclusive with us? She didn't come right out and say yes. What she said was, well, I'm not seeking other relationships. I'm not doing that. But that was enough for Ashley and Shane. Okay. When Sarah left, her and Ashley kissed right in front of Shane. And after Sarah left, Shane was like, "Oh, that was interesting," which I didn't understand what he meant by that, because it was just like a peck on the lips. He goes, "Well, that was interesting." And Ashley said, "Well, yeah, I really didn't expect that. I guess I'm not sure why she didn't expect Sarah to kiss her on the lips." And he tells her that, "Well, I don't feel jealous. I'm not feeling jealousy, but I am feeling awkward." Shane, what are you talking about? Shane, okay, you're so concerned about figuring out what Sarah really wants from y'all, what her true intentions are. What are your true intentions in all of this? What do you really want in all of this, Shane? Are you really 100% comfortable with Ashley moving on with a woman, including a woman in y'all's relationship? Because I'm very confused. So later on, they go out to dinner with Ashley's best friend, Rachel. And they talk about Sarah and all that they've been through with Sarah. And Shane says that he's feeling a little bit better now about Sarah. Ashley tells us that Shane is the only man that has given her everything that she's ever wanted in a relationship. So Ashley was giving me the impression that she dated women mostly in her past and really hasn't dated too many men, if at all. Because I'm looking at Shane and I'm like, wow, Ashley, you're saying that Shane is the only man that has ever given you everything that you've ever wanted in a relationship. I'm beginning to think that she really hasn't dated a lot of men. She really hasn't dated a lot of men. Because, I mean, Shane, to me, the way he treated the first potential sister wife, I forgot her name, but the way he treated her, the way he talked to her was really bad and really ugly, rude and disrespectful when he was questioning her profession and, like making fun of what she did for a living. She was like a life coach or something. I didn't care too much for that. And to me, that really showed his personality. And the fact that he's so wishy-washy with them, including a sister wife. Some days he's all for it. Some days he's really struggling. He's extremely wishy-washy, but he wants Sarah to be very direct and to be very straightforward, when I feel like Shane is none of that. So at the dinner, okay, he's okay with it. He's happy about Sarah, and he thinks that they are, they're ready to move forward with Sarah. Then they talk more about Shane and, his cancer situation. He finally got his screening done. I guess the results are not in yet because they didn't talk about the results. And they talk about, the reason why they're doing this is so that if anything happens to him, Ashley will already have a partner. I don't know. I feel like Ashley and Shane are not being very upfront with one another. I don't know. I think that Shane probably, struggled with relationships in the past. And then he found Ashley. And I think Ashley decided to go ahead and, get with him because he was probably a really good provider. And I think that somehow she convinced him, because I think Shane is really loves Ashley, really wants, to be with Ashley. And I think that Ashley convinced him that it's okay for them to have a sister wife, or for her to have a wife, so that she can continue to satisfy her need or her desire to be with women in all forms, not just sexually, but in all forms. And she can have Shane take care of everybody. I don't know. This is a weird dynamic to me. It's a very weird dynamic. Shane to me just seems like his personality and Ashley's personality doesn't really match. He's very serious, like overly serious, whereas Ashley is more bubbly, a little bit more happy. I don't know. I think this is like a marriage of convenience. He really wanted a wife, and she really needed a provider. And I think that he wants to be with her so bad that he is allowing her to take on a wife just to keep her. I don't know, because I don't get this relationship at all. I don't understand it. And another thing, when they were at dinner with Ashley's best friend, I noticed that, and in other scenes too, I think there was some type of a device that was stuck on Ashley's chest. I didn't know what that was. It looked like a monitor of some type, so I'm wondering if it's some type of a medical device that's monitoring her heart rate or her sugar or her pressure. I don't know. I was really curious about that. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.